Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. We are with Christy Rich from The Dancing Curtain. She is also a holistic healer, a transformational speaker, and a medium. What else?
So many things. Also clairvoyant too.
Ooh, I know. I was like, I could keep writing this list, but I'm going to let you talk about all this. So, why don't you tell us about yourself and how you ended up where you are today?
Sure, absolutely. So, as you mentioned, I'm a holistic healer. So, that means I help people to balance the mind, body, and spirit. And I got into this because I actually had my own health crisis. So, I had a debilitating illness for 15 years, and unfortunately, it was misdiagnosed. So, for much of the time, I was just really searching and trying to find ways to improve my health. But it was very difficult because, one, my doctors didn't believe me. At first, they just thought that I was depressed or stressed. And then I kept on coming back again and again for more tests, saying I still wasn't feeling better. And then they thought I was a hypochondriac. So,
Wow.
yeah. So I was not getting the support and help that I needed. So I realized very quickly that I needed to become my own health advocate. So at the time, I didn't know anything about alternative health and wellness. I didn't know anything about holistic health. I was brought up going to the doctors and doing what the doctors said, but the doctors weren't helping me. They were just saying, just take an antidepressant, you're just depressed. So what happened was, long story made short, was finally I was able to find a doctor who believed me. And I was so grateful. He did an extra test and found out that I had liver toxicity, that I had very high levels of heavy metals in my blood.
Wow.
And they were off the charts, both with lead and mercury. So I needed to get them out. And that's what was causing my illness for 15 years.
Hmm.
So during the time that I was sick, I was being very proactive. I was trying vitamins, I was changing my diet. And that's how I became a healer, because I was trying to heal myself. So that's how I ended up learning shamanism. I studied Russian shamanism from a shaman from Siberia, and I also studied Reiki as well. And then I combined the two to create my own healing, and that's what I use now with my clients. So, to make a long story short, I did overcome my illness. Because it was liver toxicity, I knew I had to get the heavy metals out. They wanted to do a full year of chelation therapy, which is similar to chemotherapy. It's
Hmm.
very, very toxic on the body. And I didn't want to go that route because I did research and I found out that it's very costly, very painful, and it has disastrous side effects, which oftentimes are worse than the symptoms you had before.
Right.
So they said that it could cause paralysis, it could cause brain damage, and it could cause death.
Wow.
So,
Not scary at all. It doesn't sound
yeah,
troubling.
yeah. I've got these heavy chemicals in my body that are causing toxins, and they want to put something even more toxic in there that could cause death. Great, great idea.
Yeah. Option A or option B.
So then that's when I knew I really wanted to do a holistic approach, mind, body, and spirit, to go with natural remedies, to really focus on, healing the physical body, getting the heavy metals out, but then also realizing how important my mindset is, to really start to meditate daily. And that's what I started to do. I started to meditate twice a day for the first time ever for just 20 minutes a day. And that just cleared my mind of all negativity, allowed myself to just fill in the positivity. And simple walking, again, eating good food. I found food that was naturally chelating, because with heavy metals, you have to have something that attaches to the metals to draw them out. So I took natural food, natural supplements, meditated, and within 1 month, not 1 year, 1 month, my levels were down to zero. So,
Wow. That's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So shows you the power of a holistic approach being so much quicker, because it is so important to get to the root cause. And that's what I
Hmm.
realized, is that doctors weren't trying to find the root cause of my illness. They were just trying to diagnose it or to push it aside, saying, oh, no, you're fine. But really, once I got to the root cause, found out it was heavy metals, then I could treat myself, and then I overcame it very quickly.
Right. And I know a lot of people now that I've come into this industry of podcasting and, meeting with people who take a much natural approach. That being said, we're in a crazy time right now. And I don't think
Yes.
any of us have really, well, a lot of us haven't experienced anything like this. So, for those that don't know, can you explain what being a holistic healer means? And of course, how can that help people today?
Sure, very good question. So, a holistic healer, as I mentioned, focuses on the mind, body, and spirit, also focuses on the whole story to understand what the root cause is. Because for every illness, every disease, even the coronavirus we're going through right now, there is a root cause. So it's very important that you discover that so you know how to treat it. Because if you don't know the root cause, you can be addressing the side effects of not treating it sooner. So, for instance, with my issue of having liver toxicity, I had really bad upset stomach. I started to break out into terrible acne. I had night sweats. I had terrible insomnia, terrible migraines. And many people would say, okay, let's just take the individual symptoms. Let's just say, okay, she's got a upset stomach. Let's give her something for acid reflux. And that's what they did. So my doctors were just compartmentalizing and say, okay, let's just take these little symptoms and let's treat them individually. Let's give you a medicine for migraines, a medicine for the upset stomach, and take this to sleep. But they weren't addressing the liver. It was really the liver that needed to be addressed and to get the heavy metals out. So with my sessions, I sit down with my clients. We work in person or virtually, and they let me know their story. So I really hear their full story of what they have tried, what has been going on, when the illness started. It's very important to know when it started because that gives you many clues. I also ask what was going on at the time. How were they feeling? Were they very stressful? Were they depressed? Had someone just passed? Were they in an accident? What happened at the very beginning? And then we after they have completely expressed themselves too, because it's also about emotional support and expressing themselves, then I do a healing. So then I do the energy work, I do the Reiki shamanism blend. And then after that, I really share my clairvoyant intuitive reading. So that's the fun part. That's the part where I really lift them up. That's the spiritual part.
Mhm.
And so that's when I share my visions. That's when I share messages from the divine, since I'm also a medium. And that's also when I'm able to channel insights to give them recommended action steps so that they know what to do afterwards. So when they're home, when they have finished seeing me, they know what steps to take to empower them.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. And we did that reading with the Rise and Bloom group, and it
Yeah.
was great, when you were giving what you had seen back. And I think for mine, it was to create boundaries and stuff. And I just sat there, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, this is so true. And so I've really started when I meditate, I think of that yellow light, and I'm really mindful of that stuff because I know that meditation is helping me right now
Yes,
and
good.
just using those practices. So how do you feel about what's going on right now? What kind of emotional mental state, or how is this affecting you?
Well, I know that I'm supposed to be a teacher. I know I'm supposed to be a leader. And since I am a medium, I have been getting so many downloads. My guides have been talking to let me know that I need to be more visible and I need to share what they are teaching me. So it's great to have that support, to have a guide to channel through and to give you a higher perspective of what's going on. So, really, as I mentioned, with every disease, with every illness, there is a root cause. And for this one, it's very important to really look at our lives because our lives have become very imbalanced. And part of the problem is that we have accepted convenience instead of really realizing what is healthy for ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. So, because of that, we live a very toxic life. So part of the lesson is that we need to really reduce toxins from our life. We really need to be mindful of how things are affecting us, both what we put into our bodies as far as medicine, as far as food, as far as what we put on our bodies, as far as lotions and hair products, as far as what we spray in the air to deodorize or to clean, and even as far as, technology, our phones with 5G, that these are all different areas that are affecting our health. So it's very important that we become proactive. This is not a time for us to feel disempowered. This is not a time for us to say, okay, it's whatever the government says. I'm just going to sit back and just be at home and not do anything and just take care of me. It's really a time for you to say, you are always in charge of your health. You always have the power. And it's very, very simple, but no one teaches us. And it's just 2 steps. Everyone needs to be aware of their vibration, their mindset, very, very important. And that's something we do have control over, how happy we feel or just how we see the world, right? To have a very high perspective that everything is happening for the best, everything is happening to improve our lives. And then also the other ingredient is our immune system, that we can boost our immune system. And again, we can do that naturally through organic fruits and vegetables. We can do that through also supplementing with herbs. We can do that by also making sure we get proper sleep. Sleep is so important. So there's many steps that we can take. And if we have both, if we have very high vibration and a very strong immune system, we cannot get sick. But there's a lot of fear that's being spread in the media saying, okay, it's all about germs and it's all about contact and it's all about this chaotic theory that we are out of control right now. Mm-hmm. I want to empower people that no matter what happens, no matter what's going on outside, we always have the control of our health, always.
I agree. And, for myself, had you asked me 8 years ago before I changed my lifestyle, I probably would have been one of those people panicking and wanting to stock up my freezer and my fridge and staying home and isolating. And I'm so grateful today that I don't feel that way and that I have chosen to surround myself with people who are positive. I just sat on a panel with, Chris McPeak and Allison Melody and Janice McQueen a few days ago. And we just had a nice open conversation about how this is affecting us. And all of us look at this as an opportunity to give back and to spread hope and to spread positivity, yes. Right? Instead of, and it's not a form, like we're not trying to make anything or take anything from this. Now is the time to give. And yes. Unfortunately, that's the part I think that scares me the most about this is how selfish and greedy people have become and not thinking about, oh, there's an elderly person in the grocery store, they're coming to get a packet of chicken and you take the last one, or, this whole toilet paper thing. So I think that scares me most out of anything that's happening right now. But I've made a choice to be healthy and so I'm not scared. If I get it, I get it. I know I'm being proactive rather than reactive.
Very good.
But you mentioned, there's a lot of there's herbs and supplements that you can take. What are some things you would recommend that people kind of, start to consume right now?
Sure. And just to touch on what you said, I really believe that fear is contagious. Mm-hmm. So I believe that one of the reasons why people are acting so crazy right now is that they're watching the news. The news is full of negativity, and they're kind of being trained to accept more fear. And then they're going into their survival instincts of, I've got to have enough food. I've got to take care of me. It doesn't matter about you. It's just about me. So we're being taught this by the media. So again, I'm really encouraging people to turn off the news. Don't watch as much. It's just spreading fear. But yes, as far as herbs that we can take. So let's start with vitamins. So very, very easy. Everyone should take vitamin C daily. They should take 1,000 milligrams. It is preferred to take a capsule or a buffered vitamin C if you have a stomach upset. I'm saying right now, since it's hard to get out to the grocery store and since it's hard to get exactly what you want, it's okay to have a chewable. Okay, it's much better if you have just vitamin C and no sugar because sugar weakens the immune system. But right now, just as long as you're getting vitamin C, that's going to help you. So vitamin C, 1000 milligrams, also zinc, just one zinc tablet daily, or excuse me, capsules better, capsules easier to digest. And if you can also get it in a liquid. So anytime you have liquid, again, it's easily absorbed in the body and goes right into the bloodstream, so that is preferred. For herbs, my guides are really recommending echinacea. So echinacea is very good to boost the immune system. And again, I do recommend a liquid echinacea. And some people will go with the adult version, but for me personally, I do like children's. It's really good. They make sure it's
Agree.
and there's actually no alcohol in children's. So again, if you have too much alcohol in your system, that again weakens the immune system. So better to go with children's and have the alcohol-free version, and just make sure you take a little bit more so you get the adult serving.
Right. And it's funny you say that because a few months ago, I think it was back at the end of December, I got really sick. I had a really
Oh.
bad flu. One of my friends is convinced that it was, the coronavirus. But I took echinacea, and I had always gotten the children's version because there's no alcohol in it. And, being an
Oh.
alcoholic, I got the adult version. I had no idea. And I took one of the drops of it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this
Oh
tastes
no.
like alcohol.
Yes, it does have alcohol in it. Yes, yes. So very interesting that you mentioned that, because I actually got sick last year too, around November. I was very, very sick. And so I do believe that the seed was planted 6 months ago for the coronavirus. Not the coronavirus was spreading at that time, but our cells were changing because we knew that this change was happening. So, uh, I'll go back to that in 1 second, because I also wanted to finish up with the herbs for you. So the other information that's being channeled from my guides is that if you do get the coronavirus, don't panic. There is a natural remedy. So you don't have to worry about there not being medicine, and actually medicine always suppresses the immune system, so it's always better to go natural. So if you do contract the coronavirus, you should take echinacea with golden seal. Golden seal is a natural antibiotic. As you're probably aware, if you take a man-made antibiotic, then that means that it takes out all the good bacteria. Okay,
Hmm.
it kills the bad. We want to kill the bad, but it also kills the good bacteria, and we need good bacteria to fight. It has a purpose. But with natural antibiotics, with the golden seal, you don't have to worry about the good bacteria being killed off. It's just
Hmm.
completely natural, no side effects, so you won't need to take a probiotic with that. So all you need to take is echinacea and golden seal if you get sick with the coronavirus.
Wow, that's excellent. And then you were going to go back what you were talking about before. Sorry, the echinacea thing reminded me of the alcohol
Oh,
content, and it was
no,
actually a little
perfect.
shocking.
No, people need to know that, because a lot of people don't read their labels. So I really
Yeah.
want to encourage people to read the labels, because you would assume that it's just echinacea. You wouldn't think there'd be alcohol in there, but they put it in there as a preservative. They
Hmm.
do. So just quickly, though, I do want to have a little caution. Natural is always best, but if you do have an allergy to ragweed, or if you do know you're allergic to echinacea or golden seal, golden root, you should not take echinacea or golden seal. Okay, so if you know you have an allergy, or if you have a seasonal allergy to ragweed, that's going to also mean you're allergic to echinacea and golden seal. So in that case, do not take those, but otherwise you should be fine. You shouldn't have any symptoms.
Okay, that's really good to know. Um, can you tell us how shamanism and is it Reiki?
Reiki.
Reiki.
Mhm.
Reiki. Um, how you use that to inspire and empower people, because I think that's really important right now as well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand energy work. A lot of people are afraid of it, actually, because they do not understand it. But what I
Mm.
try to educate people is that there's a lot of different healing modalities, and Reiki and shamanism are just two. So it's very similar to acupuncture, acupressure. It's all about getting the chi to flow. So it's the Eastern philosophy of thought that if you have illness, if you have depression, if you have stress, frustration, if you have addiction, that means that the chi, the universal life force energy, is not flowing. So once you get the chi flowing again, then you have balance. Then you have great health. Then you have great high emotions. Then your life is also flowing too. So I just let people know that with the energy work that I do, you can always set the intention. It should be from the client, not from the healer, and it can be any intention you like. Since I do holistic healing, again, it can be mind, body, and spirit. It doesn't have to just be the physical body. It doesn't have to be just chronic health conditions or chronic illness, although that is my specialty with my background. But it can be anything. It can be helping to heal your heart after heartbreak, or to release toxic relationships from your life, or to get back into the work play balance. It can be anything you desire. So it is always very inspirational to have a session.
So on that note, I was reading on your website actually that in 2017 you went and traveled to go
Yes,
see a famous medium, and you would
yes.
spend 6 hours a day meditating.
Up to 6 hours a day. Yeah, so that was the longest. So we had different sessions. So there was a morning session, and there was a lunch break, and then there was an afternoon session. So that was the longest that I ever meditated before. And it was all concentrating on positivity, on love, on the highest vibration possible. And it was I don't know, about 200 people meditating at the same time each session. So it was
Wow.
very, very powerful, and it was creating a very healing space. And it was in a location in Brazil that had crystals underneath the town. So it was all under. It was all above, I believe it was clear quartz. So the energy was just very, very heightened, and you
Hmm.
had the people meditating daily. So because of that experience, I actually became a medium.
Wow.
Yes.
That's incredible. I know I remember reading that and I was like, I have to ask her about this because that is, I've always thought about going on some sort of meditation retreat. And, with my schedule, it's tough to do now, mind you. As soon as
Mhm.
this travel ban is lifted, then of course I'll return to normal. But that's
Mm.
definitely something on my bucket list, is to do something like that where I can just experience, that positivity and just meditation for hours on end.
Yes, yes. It was an amazing experience, and it's something I never thought I could do. But you take steps. You don't do everything in one full swoop, you know?
Hmm.
So for me, I did meditate in the beginning, I guess was 2010, which helped me to overcome my chronic illness. And that was just 20 minutes at a time, twice a day. And then that helped me to overcome my illness. And then I went through healing other people, and I went, changing my diet, moving to California, having fun. And then it was until 2017 that I did the longer meditation, and then I was ready for it. So then that helped me to become a medium. So it just shows again the power of meditation. It can help you to overcome an illness. It can help you to develop new skills. It can help you to get into the flow of your life, really, whatever you desire.
Right. Now, you have a new blog
I do.
and a book coming out, or it's coming out, isn't it?
I'm writing the book still. So while I'm
Mhm.
writing the book, I am writing the blog.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I've got a number of hats going on. So right now I am writing a new blog that just launched a little while ago,
Hmm.
and it's called Mum's the Word: Mothers Speaking Out About Childbirth Around the World. So my book is about childbirth around the world, and it's through the holistic experience. So it's about how childbirth affects women, both emotionally, physically, and also the full story. So it's not just about the moment that she has her baby, but it's about how did she feel when she found out she was pregnant? How did she feel throughout her pregnancy? Well, physically and emotionally. How did her childbirth experience go? Was it what she planned? What happened? And then the postpartum period. How did she feel afterwards now that she was a mother? How was that experience for her too? So it's been just a fabulous journey, a journey I never thought that I would go on. But again, you just are guided and you take the call.
Yeah, it's funny how things have shifted, even in my world, because my niche is learning to live a healthier lifestyle while I travel for business, because I really
Yes.
struggled in the past with yo-yo dieting and,
Mm.
kind of off and on, off and on. If there's a fad diet out there, I've tried it. Um, and, now I've really spent time focusing on what's right for my body and what works for
Good,
me. So
good.
like we had talked about, I would say didn't eliminate carbs, but I've really cut those back because that's something that's a trigger for me. And
Hmm.
so I've been more focusing now on health, that I'm stuck at home. But all this, figuring out how to optimize my time and get healthy on the road has actually impacted me in a bigger way being home, because I'm used to having to save time and work out in a hotel room and not have the luxuries that right now we're all being cut off from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I'm very grateful for that. But um, for anybody right now, what would you say are the top three things, tips or advice that you would give to people, especially in times like these, to stay healthy and, whether they're traveling or not?
Great question. So I want to go back to the two steps that I mentioned before. I really believe it's important to have a high vibration. So very important that you meditate right now. And anyone can meditate. There's so many different styles. A lot of people say, oh, I can't do it. I can't clear my mind. It's too hard, too much going on in there. But anyone can do it. So you can do it simply by breathing deeply, just really inhaling and exhaling longer, doing that for several minutes. That's a meditation. You can watch the sunset, the sunrise for several minutes, not be on your phone, not being distracted by anything else, just focus. Meditation is about focus. So just looking at the sunset is a meditation. Going for a walk in nature, and again, not being tied to your phone, but just hearing the sounds of the birds, feeling the crunching of the leaves, smelling the flowers, that's a meditation. Or you can do a traditional meditation where you have a mantra that you just think inside as you inhale and you think as you exhale. Simple as that. Or it can be a guided visualization. It can be yoga. Yoga also has different meditations. So there's so many different styles. There's so many different types. You don't have to completely clear your mind and focus on that if that's difficult for you. So I would recommend meditation. I would also recommend that we boost our immune system. So very, very important we do that. I gave some tips. I also want to emphasize again, not to eat sugar. Sugar weakens the immune system. I recommend not drinking alcohol. That weakens the immune system. I recommend that people also detoxify their liver. So that's my specialty since I had the liver toxicity. So I do have a YouTube series on right now that I'm really helping people to empower them with knowledge of what they can do during this time to boost their immune system. And I will be creating a course too to really help people know that they can prevent the coronavirus. They don't need to get it, and the steps that they need to do that, which includes detoxifying their liver. So those would be the 3 steps I would recommend.
Okay, that's fantastic. And now, how can people get a hold of you? Because I'm really focusing on sharing out people who can help in times like these. So if somebody
Yes.
wants to learn more, what are the best ways to get a hold of you?
Well, the best ways to get a hold of me would simply be to send an email. They can email me at Christee, Kristee, at thedancingcurtain.com. So send me an email and then we can set up a session. We can set up a one-on-one session. I do virtual sessions and they're very powerful, and they do include a recording of the intuitive reading as well as detailed notes to support them. Also, if they're short on time, then I do have a new virtual group healing, which meets once a month. And similar to what you have experienced with my healing, I will send the healing to their intention. Everyone gets to pick one intention. And I also do a group intention for the full group. And then afterwards, after they receive that in the evening, the next day, I send them an email with a recording of my clairvoyant visions and guidance. So very easy, very simple if they're short on time. And other than that, they can check out my website. It's www.thedancingcurtain.com. And also follow me on social media for inspiration and support. So that would be The Dancing Curtain on Facebook. That would be my name, Christee Rich, on Instagram. And that would be Dancing Curtain on YouTube.
Oh, thank you so much. And I, of course, will put all that in the show notes after. So it's easy to click on and you can go directly. And yes, I've experienced, what Christee does, and it was so great. And, I actually have talked to you about becoming a client and doing more of
Yes.
this work. So I'm really excited about that. But I just want to thank you so much for being on my show. I really appreciate you being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.